Number 7. Underwater tour guides. When people travel to beautiful beach destinations, they take advantage of the opportunity to participate in underwater excursions. Some of the most popular activities are snorkeling, scuba diving, or swimming with marine life. Since the vacationers aren't experts, the role of underwater tour guides is to make sure that they are safe as they interact with animals or explore the reefs. The salary for this job varies greatly depending on the activity and location you're in, but a rough average of what you could earn is between $20,000 to $55,000 per year. Regardless of which tour you give, you need to be certified to give instruction. You can find courses to become certified with the Professional Association of Diving Instructors or the National Association of Underwater Instructors. This is necessary because wild animals are sharing their home with us when we get into the water, and anything can go wrong, resulting in potentially life-threatening situations. A perfect example of this is when certified South African diving guide Andre Hartman was leading an excursion for tourists to cage dive with a great white shark. Everything seemed to be going according to plan at first, until the great white shark accidentally swam directly into the opening of the shark cage, getting stuck and violently thrashing around. The two tourists within the cage were suddenly in danger as they tried their best to dodge the shark's giant mouth and sharp teeth. They were eventually able to squeeze through the other side of the cage and back up onto the boat, where Hartman was then able to release the shark. Just goes to show that anything can go wrong, and it's crucial to be prepared for any scenario. Number 6. Public safety diver. This isn't your typical kind of diving. These divers are part of law enforcement or firefighters who take on underwater criminal investigations, search and rescue efforts, or evidence recovery. Part of their duty is the commitment to respond to emergencies without any notice, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It doesn't matter if it's morning or night, sunny or rainy, if the water is pitch black or even polluted by chemicals. Once they are called, they have to respond. Not only is basic diving training a requirement, but they also have to receive specialized training for search procedures, diving in zero visibility, recognizing hazards, risk assessment, and recovering evidence that can be used in a courtroom. They also have to learn how to decontaminate themselves after swimming in contaminated water. While the majority of public safety divers are law enforcement, those who have an interest in being part of the team have the opportunity to do so, as long as they pass all the courses, become certified as a National Association of Underwater Instructors Advanced Scuba Diver, have at least 20 open water scuba dives under their belt, and have an up-to-date first aid and CPR certification. They can volunteer for this position. Public safety divers can make anywhere between $55,000 to $95,000 annually. If you decide to pursue this job, make sure that you are in good health and fully trained to do so. Public safety divers have died on the job in the past. Between 40 to 50% of these deaths were from cardiac problems due to stress and overexertion, many of them with pre-existing heart conditions. Number 5. Aquatic Veterinarian. If you love animals, want to take care of them, and like being underwater, being an aquatic veterinarian may be your calling. You'll be able to look after a wide variety of underwater creatures like whales, turtles, sharks, dolphins, and so much more. Just like a regular veterinarian, aquatic veterinarians must earn a Doctor of Veterinary Medicine degree. They also need to become licensed in veterinary medicine by passing the North American Veterinary Licensing Exam. And while not necessary, you can pursue a board certification that requires several years of continued practical training under supervision to become specialized in a certain field. They give routine vaccinations, prescribe medication, conduct tests of the animal's health and behavior, and even rescue injured animals. Aquatic vets can also work for aquaculture farms or facilities, zoos, aquariums, marine parks, and museums. They can also work out in the open ocean, which may also require a scuba diving certification. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, underwater vets make an average salary of $94,000, but can earn as much as $162,000. Number 4. Underwater model. Underwater modeling isn't as easy as it looks. While the same ideas overlap as modeling on land, underwater models have to be able to hold their breath underwater for long periods of time, while not looking panicked or uncomfortable in their pictures. Although there aren't any actual requirements to become one, it is recommended to be a strong swimmer, preferably have some diving experience, and be able to control your breath. Everything else, such as controlling underwater clothing, floating hair, and facial expressions, comes with practice. Although anyone can technically volunteer to be the subject of an underwater photo shoot, for safety purposes, it is strongly discouraged if you aren't experienced underwater. Even for the most experienced models, things can go horribly wrong. Olivia Koo was a Taiwanese model who drowned during an underwater photo shoot in 2016. When she removed her breathing tube to get a picture without it, she began to have an asthma attack that made her choke on water. She was pulled back onto the shore, but efforts to revive her were unsuccessful. Number 3. Submarine worker. If you enjoy spending time deep beneath the surface of the ocean, working on a submarine may be intriguing to you. There are several types of submarine jobs out there. While there are some jobs in the fields of scientific research and tourism, the majority of submarine jobs are geared towards members of the Navy. The first step in pursuing a job on a submarine is joining the Navy and completing basic training. After that, you can talk to your commanding officer about your interest in being a submariner. At that point, you'll be given some assessments and tests that you'll have to pass in order to move forward. You are required to have the ability to efficiently work in conditions with little to no space or privacy, and no sunlight, for several consecutive weeks or months at a time. There are many jobs within the 4 departments on a submarine, depending on your rating. The weapons department is where you work with torpedoes and missiles. In the engineering department, you work with nuclear reactors. The operations department is where you focus on communication and navigation gear, or you could be part of the supply department, where you work with spare parts and work in the kitchen. The annual salary of a submarine worker depends on their role, but they can expect to make anywhere between $70,000 to $90,000 a year. Number 2. Underwater hotel and restaurant worker. This is a great way to work beneath the surface while remaining dry pretty much at all times. There are a handful of underwater hotels and restaurants in the world, in places like Tanzania, the Maldives, Singapore, China, Dubai, and even in the United States. Depending on the place, you can either dive to get inside, step into an elevator that takes you from the surface to several feet below sea level, or take a quick boat ride to the entrance that you then climb down into. Tasks working at an underwater hotel or restaurant are the same as on land, such as room service, concierge, serving drinks, waiting tables, and working in the kitchen. But there is also some room to come up with other creative jobs too. For instance, let's meet Bob Doyle. Bob works at Jules Undersea Lodge in Florida, and his job title is Underwater Pizza Delivery Man. Yes, you heard that right. He's definitely a crowd favorite at the hotel. Number 1. Marine Mammal Trainer. This is a fantastic job if you are passionate about marine animals and teaching others about them. Marine mammal trainers interact with and care for all types of mammal life, like seals, whales, dolphins, otters, and more. The job includes feeding the animals, keeping their environment safe and clean, and exercising them physically and mentally. In addition, trainers lead educational programs alongside the animals to teach people about them and talk about the importance of conservation. To become a marine mammal trainer, the first thing you need is a bachelor's degree in a subject like life science, animal science, biology, marine biology, or zoology. You'll also need to be scuba certified, and in most cases, CPR and first aid certified as well. To succeed in this position, it's helpful to have strong public speaking, communication, and swimming skills. The average salary earned is around $30,000 per year. While the job can be fun and extremely fulfilling, it also comes with risks. There have been several reported incidents of marine mammals attacking their trainers. While the majority of them were able to recover, a few people have lost their lives on the job. Ken Peters was one of the lucky ones. but experienced firsthand just how risky working with wild animals can be. In 2006, a killer whale named Kasatka took hold of Kin's foot and dragged him around in the water, tormenting him for about 15 minutes. She aggressively thrashed him around and only allowed for just a couple of moments of air before dragging him back underwater. She kept Kin towards the middle of the pool, well out of the reach of his fellow trainers who were trying to help him. There was a moment when Kin was able to break free, and as he frantically swam to the edge of the pool, Kasatka charged after him again. Luckily, he made it out in time. He was treated for a broken foot and other minor injuries. It is believed that the attack was triggered when Kasatka heard her baby's cry from another pool and was trying to send a message to the trainers. While working with wild animals can be a great experience, we should never underestimate what they are capable of. Would you rather be stuck in a shark cage with a violently thrashing shark, or dragged underwater by a killer whale?